Yo! Today we're gonna have a short review of Nightmare Reaper. Let me tell you, one of the best feelings of being a reviewer is when you get your first impression from a title with the screenshots, video and early release info, and you're wrong. See, the thing is that the deep secret of being a game reviewer that we would play a lot of games, you can generally get a pretty good idea of what game deal is going to be from a fairly small slice of gameplay. Heck, you are generally get a sense of what sort of game you are going to be playing just from early release screenshots. Sure, there is some room to turn that option, which is why actual play is vital. But more often than not, you go into thinking that you have at least some idea of what to expect. And then there are the games that surprise you. The ones that have unique twist or just such a perfect balance of ideas that you can't help but sit up and say, "Whoa, that's brilliant. I would never have guessed this from the previews." And it's ever been when the game in question surpasses you in the best ways. So, Nightmare Reaper is released on March 28 on Steam for PC players. The story of Nightmare Reaper is vague right from the start. In fact, it's very easy to have no idea what the story is if you miss the notes on the table in your room. But you can guess at some of the environment. You start off in what is, for all intents and purposes, a fairly standard looking FPS room. Nothing unusual or noteworthy in any fashion. You get a brief tutorial in how to play the game, and you move through the killing monsters and such with minimal explanation. Then you clear the level, and you wake up. You're in what appears to be mental institution. There is a bookshelf full of things, a toilet, a sink, a bed, and a table. You are given no explanation for why the main character is here. The closest thing you can start to piece together is looking by the doctor notes on the table in your room. Each level completed adds another pages to the notes. More about the patient you are playing and what is going on with her. You only escape lying back down in bed, at which point you spawn into another level, slithering your way through things in bloody and variant fashion. The point of the story and the setting of the disordering, you are not sure exactly what the patient's deal is, and it's quickly unclear if the institution that she is in safe or even she entirely keeping herself together between the levels. This is a disturbed woman, you're only getting to scratch the surface of what's going on, with no clarity as how to her much nightmares of slaughter are based on her real life, and how much they're just violent, delusional fantasies. Deep? Not particularly, but it's an interesting and immersive way of telling a story, a feeling that these violent fantasies are an escape from the prison she been forced into, even as you wonder what she did to get her put her in the first place. The sense of claustrophobia and paranoia weighs its way in, and the disorientation is real, especially when you die in the middle of the level and you find it snapped back unharmed in the middle of your room. It's gripping, is what it is. Of course, just figuring out what the patient is up to won't be nearly as interesting if she was just walking around and occasionally interacting with the things. The bulk of the game is, well, the game. And it's here that the title becomes a seriously engaging piece of work. At the most basic level, Nightmare Reaper is retro FPS in a vintage Doom mold. You are maneuvering through the blocky corridors while shooting 2D spirits of enemies, which have a variety of different attack types and attack patterns. You know how an FPS works. There is an emphasis of quick movement and dodging. Enemies drop health when defeated, but you aren't terribly durable. It's easy to get yourself chewed down quickly. However, what helps you in fact that your arsenal is not limited to predefined weapons. Enemies also drop weapons ranging from rocket launches to the pump-action shotguns to esoteric fire like necromantic skulls to summon an army of skeletons, for example. Weapon range from being common to legendary, with more modifiers on weapon the rarer they are. Each weapon is also rated on a level system, with more powerful weapons having a higher level to compensate for their high base power. Unfortunately, you can't take it all with you. You have to pick which weapon you want to take with you at the end of given level. All you other drops are sold for cash. Cash in turn can be used to upgrade your abilities in one of the game's skill trees. The skill trees is an interesting term take form of various cartridges you place into what is clearly are not explicitly named Game Boy Advance SP, with each of providing you a different minigame to play in addition to currency to unlock new upgrades. Now let me be clear about something. The main game here absolutely rocks. If you have any affection for old school FPS action, the levels are satisfying fun, randomized, and absolutely awash in net events and stuff to do. The action is vicious, high intensity and nasty, and you feel like every satisfying kill shot is earned. Just like you feel a rush of satisfaction each time you notice a crack in the wall and kick it open to reveal one of the level's secrets. Everything is always playing fair. The game is difficult but not cruel, and upgrading over time makes you feel more accomplished and makes the difference between victory and defeat. Heck, even defeat doesn't sting you too much. You don't get as much money for the end of level clear bonus, but you have extra coin and can try it again. Sometimes you can get a bad draw of weapons and rooms. It's not a big deal. Get back on the horse. The one weak point is minigames for upgrading. I appreciate what the designers were going for it. It creates another later or stuff to do and explore, and it keeps the upgrade processing feeling more immersive. At the same time, the minigames fall into that draped space where they just involve enough to feel like their own little game, but not involved enough to be fun or rewarding on their own. The Topaz tree in particular is an absolute mess of a system that don't quite work together, and I feel like the game would be better if we were just a bit simple overall. However, that doesn't change the fact that the core games is both fun and addictive in the best way, and if there are some mild irritations about how the work upgrades, they were melted away once again you get back from the frantic shooting on looking at action. It is sort of the game that inspires you to go in for just one more round of play. And I found myself going back to the game time again, hoping to earn just one more upgrades along the patch. Visually, the game has a rough, blocky and pixelated look that very much a throwback to the early days of the genre, without being an explicit ripoff of any of them. The textures are rough, but they look good. That simple look freeing up space for the suggestions of things rather than aiming for the perfect fidelity. It's an interesting look, although the 2D enemy sprites do become hard to see when you are about them. A true title, and like say the aforementioned original Doom, that will happen from time to time. And especially the evocative if you are playing the brutal Doom mode, especially with its splatters of blood, anchor, acid, and other things that wake up your path through the level. This is the sort of the game that reveals in courage in broader sense. It's not meant to horrify, it's meant to feel satisfying. The sound effects are nice, crunchy and loud, while the music augments the situation perfectly. There is a low ambient tone that plays when you are just exploring, followed by loud, driving rock that kicks in once enemies are you aware of the battle is joined. It also fades out once the threat has passed, an effect that was always nice. I found that the music kicked in the left me behind in the best way to amp me up and then let me know what I could breathe easier for a bit. One thing I did find a little obnoxious is the key being for opening different skill trees. If you have to say one of the skill trees open, but you want to be another, pressing the button won't open it but will instead close your current tree, forcing you to hit it twice to open your one you want. It's not a game ruining bug, but it's mildly broadsome. I seriously don't know if my review has successfully conveyed just how much vicious fun this game can be. I seriously found myself unable to get enough of it, meaning to stop every so often before finding myself pulled right back to the game It's an expected drive, you get more upgrades, hunt more weapons, just get another sense of satisfying an enemy charge. I unleash a rocket straight between their eyes. If you have any interest in the all-day FPS game, when you were expect to wade in, unleash firepower to top speed and leave a mess into the process, you will want to play this game. And if you are tried to play those games but can't get over the gap in the technology, this is going to be a darn fun experience for you as well. Give this one a shot. It deserves everything it's asking and then some. Just don't be surprised if it sucks you in. Seriously, the game kind of freaking rules. Thank you for watching. Bye.